The witness protection program in Kenya is a joke. Remember that all the witnesses that were supposed to testify against Ruto and Uhuru and the ICC indictees were all killed. And then the person who was supposed to be responsible for that program, Hassan Omar, was made a senator of Mombasa and now nominated member of the East African Assembly and Secretary General of the regime that is abducting. So you can see the rewards. Then you can see the IBC CEO, Chiloba, has been promoted as a diplomat in the US. And you see, so you can tell, no, we want a revolution, not reforms. We want the overhaul of the entire colonial state infrastructure, and then to replace it with something fresh, something new. This is why I've always also said those who are rushing in to say they want to run for president or whatever are jokers. Because you want to inherit the same defective institutions and colonial structures so that you can continue to do exactly what we are saying we don't want. What we want after the overhaul is for a constituent assembly or something similar to that, where Kenyans discuss and agree on what to do with these structures and institutions so that we have pro-people institutions and structures, and then we will have fresh elections. Then we can set up the IBC. If we do set up the IBC now, before the overhaul happens, then you will have worse than Chebukati. You will have Ruto impose Raila Odinga's brother Uburu or somebody else to be the head of the IBC. And then what are you going to do? Because you demanded it. And with that, I go to the second question. The witness protection program in Kenya is a joke. Remember that all the witnesses that were supposed to testify against Ruto and Uhuru and the ICC indictees were all killed. So, and then the person who was supposed to be responsible for that program, Hassan Omar, was made a senator of Mombasa and now nominated member of the East African Assembly and Secretary General of the regime that is abducting. So you can see the rewards. Then you can see the IBC CEO, Chiloba, has been promoted as a diplomat in the US. And you see, so you can tell that the witness protection program, which is under the state law office, is a joke. Okay? So we don't have a witness protection program. I believe after we have overhauled the system and transformed the infrastructure, the political, economic, and social infrastructure in the country, then we will have a witness protection program that works. Legal measures or legal and policy measures to protect whistleblowers, that's another phantom. There is no protection of whistleblowers. Everything actually arises and falls on the basis of the overhaul. If you don't have an overhaul, it doesn't matter what you do with the legal policies or programs or measures or what you say about whistleblowers, it will all result to nothing. Whistleblowers will continue to be exposed, will continue to be jeopardized, and will continue to be victimized if we do not transform the existing structure and have a state governed by or under the Constitution. Right now, you have a state that is managed through whims of individuals, caprice, or of people like Ruto. It is the arbitrariness and it is the impunity that pervades all institutions. Because today I was reading that just yesterday or the day before yesterday, Farouk Kibet, an illiterate man, slapped a member of parliament for Chapalungu. And nothing has happened to him. He will never be charged. He will never be reprimanded. He does not even occupy any public office, but he can slap a member of parliament. That shows you the impunity with which the William Ruto regime is abusing power. And that also answers the second question, the last question. So I think the questions actually rise or fall on the basis of what we do about the existing state. Anybody who talks about reforms, like those Ruto men talking about reforming the judiciary, are jokers. We don't want reforms. Reforms means changing hyenas or tailoring different uniforms for them, but the forest remains the same. And we can't continue that way. I wanted to say lastly that it shouldn't matter whether Ruto releases all the abductees tomorrow, and we wouldn't even be able to know all of them have been released, even if he claims that he has done so. The demonstrations and mass protests should continue regardless of what he does. I know he may decide to do something tonight or even in the morning tomorrow in order to put people off balance, to make it look like he has crumbled under pressure, to make it look like he is now a person who complies with public demand. We should disregard anything William Ruto does. He can release all of them. He may release a few of them. He may release nobody. But it doesn't matter what William Ruto does. William Ruto has to go out of power so that he's punished in accordance with the law to the full extent of the law. And then the people have the power to reconstitute their state so that we have a fully robust democratic state governed by people with integrity who are fully and freely chosen by the people in order to provide services for them. I think I've said many times, reform is a useless term that is being used by system-oriented individuals. Reforms bring you nothing because reform is a window dress. Reform is like applying a coat of paint over a rotten edifice. So we don't want reforms. This is what the conservative, liberal, so-called activists tried to do or persuade Kenyans were needed in 1980s, 1990s. And look where all of that got us. To nowhere. Reforms, yes. Some of it led to institutions being set up, purportedly independent, but easily captured by the same state, easily captured by the executive, easily captured by bandits. So no, we want a revolution, not reforms.